The 3 qualities women want most, and how to develop them now. Have you ever wondered what really makes a woman look at you with interest? If you think it's athlete-level muscles or a fancy car, here's a spoiler, it's not. Those cliches are like pretty wrapping paper, but what truly matters is what's inside the package. What genuinely attracts women is who you are, not what you have. And the good news? You don't need to become someone else to achieve this. You just need to discover what's already amazing about you. The secret is that women are drawn to things far beyond appearance. Things like confidence, emotional intelligence, and that spark in the eyes of someone with a purpose. No, they're not looking for Prince Charming. They want authenticity. That's why the so-called average guy sometimes steals the show. He doesn't kill himself trying to impress. He just is who he is. While others waste energy overdoing it, he stays relaxed and shines. And you know what's even better? This is something anyone can learn. I have a friend who was exactly like that. He wasn't rich, he didn't have a chiseled physique, but he always caught the attention of incredible women. Why? Because he was secure and knew how to have real conversations. No empty small talk or trying to score points. He listened, spoke with purpose, and showed that he knew what he wanted out of life. And that's the key. When you know who you are, it's irresistible. So, do you want to start understanding what attracts women? Rule number 1 is to stop thinking your worth lies in the things you own. Focus on what makes you unique. Now, let's take the next step and talk about the first quality that changes everything: self-confidence. And don't worry, this is a skill anyone can learn. Self-confidence is like the smell of barbecue in the air. Everyone notices it. Have you ever noticed how some guys walk into a room and command attention without saying a word? It's not about expensive clothes or a designer watch. It's about the energy they bring. And that energy comes from a simple place: being comfortable with who you are without needing to prove anything to anyone. That's self-confidence in its purest form. Of course, no one is born 100% confident. It's a muscle you build step by step. Every time you face a tough situation or stand by your choices, you're strengthening your confidence. And no, this doesn't mean you'll never feel fear. The secret is acting even when you're afraid. Women pick up on this from a mile away. True confidence doesn't shout. It's calm, steady, and guess what? Irresistible. I remember the first time I had to speak in public. Man, it was a disaster. My voice sounded like a broken radio, and I had no idea what to do with my hands. But I went up there and did it anyway. After that, I realized that confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the certainty that you can handle it. This changes your posture, the way you walk, and even the tone of your voice. And the best part, you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be brave. If you want to start building your confidence now, do something outside your comfort zone. It could be starting a conversation with someone new or finishing that project you've been procrastinating on. Every challenge you conquer is a building block in your foundation. Now, let me show you another powerful tool to connect with women on a real level: emotional intelligence. If emotional intelligence were a superpower, it would be the ability to read between the lines and truly connect. It's essentially understanding your own emotions while being aware of what the other person is feeling. And when you master this, conversations move beyond the surface and resonate deeply. Women notice because, unfortunately, genuine attention is rare these days. It's not just about hearing, it's about showing you're fully present. The key here is empathy. You know that guy who just gets what's going on beneath the words. He earns points without even trying. When you respond without blowing up or getting defensive and handle tough situations like a grounded, secure man, it sets you apart. Maturity and emotional control scream, "This guy is worth it." And the best part, you can learn this. Once, a friend confided in me about a complicated problem. Instead of turning into Mr. Fix-It or changing the subject, I just stayed there, listening and acknowledging her feelings. At the end, she said, "You have no idea how much that helped me." That's when I realized it's not about the grand gestures you make, but about how you make someone feel. That's emotional intelligence in action. Want to start? Practice active listening. The next time someone talks to you, resist the urge to interrupt or give quick solutions. Just listen, process, and respond sincerely. Trust me, it works wonders. Now, let's move on to something that completes the package: ambition. It's time to show you're in the game to win. Ambition is like the spark that ignites the engine. It's what gets you out of bed wanting more. Don't confuse it with greed or an obsession with money. It's about having a purpose, a goal. Women feel a magnetic attraction to guys with direction because it shows movement, growth, and passion. Life isn't about where you are, but where you're headed. Being ambitious means taking control of your story. When you set goals that matter to you, whether in work, a hobby, or personal growth, it spills over into your attitude. Women notice. They see it in your eyes, the way you speak, and even in your daily choices. A guy with ambition doesn't just attract. He inspires everyone around him. I remember a colleague who worked an ordinary job, but had a genius plan to open his own restaurant. He talked about it with such enthusiasm that you couldn't help rooting for him. He saved money, studied recipes, and tested everything on weekends. He hadn't achieved it yet, but the spark in his eyes was contagious. That's the power of ambition. Feeling a bit lost? Start small. Choose a goal that excites you, even if it's just learning something new or improving in an area of your life. What matters is starting. Ambition isn't some magical gift. It's a habit you cultivate. And speaking of that, let's talk about the mistakes that can sabotage all this progress. You might be an amazing guy, but some behaviors can ruin everything. Constantly seeking validation or acting like someone you're not just to impress others, for example, can wreck your image. Women have a sharp radar for spotting inauthenticity. And the worst part, this isn't about you lacking potential. It's about not showing your best self in a genuine way. One of the biggest missteps is trying to be perfect. You know, that forced small talk, tough guy act, or pretending you never make mistakes. It seems like it might work, but it only creates a wall between you and others. Deep down, no one connects with something artificial. Women, and honestly, everyone, prefer real guys, flaws and all, but unafraid to show who they truly are. I remember a friend who started dating an amazing woman. He got so focused on impressing her that he made up stories about his life and pretended to like things he hated. At first, she seemed interested, but eventually, she walked away. Why? She realized he wasn't being himself. It was as if she'd fallen for a false advertisement. Want to avoid that? Start by asking yourself, am I being myself or trying too hard? Stop complicating things and align your actions with who you really are. Women don't want someone perfect, they want someone honest. And in the next section, we'll talk about how authenticity can be your biggest asset when used the right way. Authenticity is like that special seasoning that makes everything better. It's what draws the right people into your life and keeps the wrong ones out. But hold on, it's not a license to be rude or unfiltered, okay? Being authentic means staying true to who you are while working to become your best version. Women love this because it shows clarity, confidence, and consistency. You don't need masks when you know what you have to offer. Now, being authentic doesn't mean sitting back and accepting your flaws as they are. It's about recognizing where you can improve and taking action without making excuses. The most interesting thing about authenticity is that it doesn't need an explanation. It shines through in how you act, how you speak, and how you handle life's ups and downs. This transparency is irresistible because it's so rare. I knew a guy who nailed this. He didn't pretend to know everything or try to be the center of attention. When he didn't understand something, he admitted it with ease. This humility, combined with the confidence of knowing what he wanted, made everyone want to be around him. He didn't talk much, but when he did, everyone listened. That's the magic of being authentic. It attracts people for who you are, not for who you pretend to be. To develop your authenticity, start by identifying what really matters to you. What are your values? What will you accept and what won't you tolerate? This will help you say no to everything that doesn't align with your essence. Let's explore how to use charm and presence to take your authenticity to another level. But first, I have a warning. How many times have you tried, put in the effort, and still ended up alone, while others seem to win over any woman with ease? That frustration, that feeling of helplessness, of seeing the woman of your dreams in someone else's arms. I know how much it hurts. But the good news is you don't have to go through this anymore. The obsession method was created specifically for those who are tired of facing these disappointments and are ready to turn things around. With techniques based on psychological studies and proven strategies, you'll learn how to make any woman feel an uncontrollable desire for you, even if, until now, you've only faced rejection. It's time to stop living with that pain, to confront the loneliness and the feeling of not being good enough. The obsession method is the key you need to turn the page and finally become the man who naturally attracts, who sparks interest and passion in any woman. Put an end to that pain. Check out the first comment below and start transforming your love life now with the method that has already helped thousands of men like you. Charm and presence aren't magic tricks reserved for a lucky few. Any guy can learn them. At their core, these qualities are all about how people feel when they're around you. A charming man makes the atmosphere lighter, while his presence makes people feel they have his full attention. Together, they create a powerful and unforgettable effect. And guess what? Women love this balance. Being charming isn't about monopolizing the conversation or trying to be the funniest guy in the room. It's about listening, being genuinely interested, and asking questions that show real curiosity. And presence? That's your anchor. It means putting down your phone, letting go of the anxiety about what you'll say next, and focusing entirely on the person in front of you. This shows respect and builds deeper connections. I had a colleague who was a master at this. He wasn't the most talkative, but he knew how to make people feel unique. Instead of throwing out generic lines, he'd ask things like, "What excites you most about what you do?" These kinds of interactions made people remember him fondly and with admiration. He was living proof that charm and presence are about quality, not quantity. Want to get started? Here's a simple exercise. In your next conversation, maintain eye contact and smile. Just that. And when the other person is talking, stop planning your next sentence and just listen. Small gestures like these create a powerful impression. Now, let's see how to turn all of this into a lifestyle that elevates your presence and attractiveness. Knowing what attracts women is one thing. Making it a part of your life is another story. The secret to mastering confidence, emotional intelligence, ambition, authenticity, charm, and presence is simple. Consistency. You don't need to change overnight. Just take small steps every day. These little actions add up, and before you know it, they'll become part of who you are. Start with small, clear goals. Want to work on your ambition? Set a practical goal for the week. Want to improve your presence? Turn off your phone while talking to someone. Emotional intelligence? Practice listening without interrupting. These changes may seem minor, but they create a huge impact. Think of them as the building blocks that construct the foundation of your best self. I remember when I decided to improve my presence. I started by turning off my phone during meals and focusing entirely on the people I was with. It sounds silly, right? But the results were incredible. People began to see me differently, realizing my attention was genuine. This showed me that even the smallest habits can transform how you're perceived and how you feel about yourself. Now it's your turn. Pick one of these qualities to start with and take the first step today. It doesn't have to be something big. Begin with something small, like smiling more or asking a different kind of question in a conversation. What matters is taking action. In the end, the difference between those who grow and those who stay stuck is attitude. Subscribe to the channel and check out the next video playing on the screen.